Okay, Simona, so let's have a look at this question. So you previously did the test and writing is your main obstacle to getting the career of your dreams. So you got a 6.5 before. So what we intend to do with yourself is to try and identify the main reasons why you might be getting that 6 or 6.5 so that we can bring you up to the 7. So turn your weaknesses into strengths. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through step by step this question. So some people say that in all levels of education, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. Do you agree or disagree? What's the first thing that we should do with this question?
Establish what type of essay is it.
Yep, so what is it?
It's an opinion essay.
It's an opinion, okay, good. That's the next thing that we should do.
Pick a side of,
well,
the topic.
Before the topic, I think, as well. What's the very first thing that we should do?
Maybe just pick out the keywords and...
I think understand the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? What is the question? Because that's something that there's a lot of things in IELTS that are very obvious and very straightforward, and people overlook them. So I think what a lot of people would do sometimes is immediately go in and start underlining keywords before they even read the full question and really understand what it is. What problem do you think could happen if you don't understand the question first?
We won't get the task achievement properly.
Yeah, yes, because you could go off in many different directions that are totally unrelated to the actual question. So imagine working really hard to improve your grammar, your vocabulary, and then on test day,
get it wrong on task achievement.
Exactly. So some people say that in all levels of education, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. What do you think is the two things that we really need to understand in this question?
So they're saying that in schools we are learning more about facts and not learning enough skills that it will help us be prepared for our actual jobs in the future. So
yeah, I think the main thing that we need to understand is the difference between learning facts
and
practical skills. So what are practical skills?
So skills that you can apply in day-to-day life when you're working, when you're starting your new career. Yeah,
in real life.
In real life, yeah.
And what's the opposite of a practical skill?
Theoretical.
Exactly.
Theory.
Exactly. So can you think of a subject that is very theoretical but not very practical?
Like what I did in my college. We learned a lot of chemistry and stuff like that, science, but was not 100% related with what I'm doing now. Like it's all right to, I understand that we have to learn the part with the formulas and the side effects and treatments and so on, but when I got first in a pharmacy, I was just like, I'd never been to a college. It was totally different.
Yeah, it's like I studied law at university and then became a lawyer, and nothing I learned in law school was applicable to what I was doing, and we had to actually go and do a whole course for a year that just focused on the practical side of being a lawyer.
Yeah, we did that as well, 6 months.
Yeah, I think most professions, that's what they do. Justin, you know a theoretical physicist, don't you?
Yeah.
so that's another good, you know, some people who study especially the hard sciences, and then they get a job at Google or Facebook or something like that, and they have to learn a completely different set of skills. The reason why I bring that up is learning facts, is that theory or not? Is that the opposite of practical skills?
Can be and can't in the same time. Like learning facts could be only theory, but also just learning about something practical but never applied.
Yeah.
Never learn how to apply it.
Yeah, I suppose.
So I think that's about.
Yeah, I suppose like geography or something
Yeah.
like that, like learning the names of the capital cities of
But
all the countries in the world.
You don't
That's
know.
useless, you know, for most jobs. Maybe if you're a pilot, it'd be good to know where your plane's going or something like that. But for most of the time when you're learning facts, whether it could be theoretical or otherwise. So I think it's if we don't think about the question, we're going to go off on different things. But now we know it's really about the tension between this and this.
Yeah.
And it's at all levels of education. Okay, so it's not talking about primary school or university or high
all
school
levels.
or adult education, it's like everything. Okay, so now that we've understood the question and I've made the board all dirty, what do we need to do next?
Okay, so establish the topic. Topic is education.
Okay, good. Why do we need to establish the topic?
So we would have an idea about what vocabulary we would use, or what the main subject is, where we should situate ourselves in the topic.
Yeah. It's also because a very common mistake that a lot of students make is they just write everything they know related to this general topic. So they'll kind of like, it's like a shotgun approach. They'll like just shoot as many different bullets at the wall and hope that something sticks and they hit something. But that's not what we're doing. We're understanding what the general topic is, so then we can go deeper into the specific topic. So what's the next thing we need to do?
Underline the keywords.
Yeah, what do you think those are?
So all levels of education, learning facts, and learning practical skills.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not just education, it is the specific things that we want to talk about. Okay, good. Now what's the next thing we should do?
Agree or disagree with the statement. Well, I agree with it. So
And should you always think about what you personally agree or disagree? Why not?
we should agree about what most people think about it, because it's about a general opinion. I am agreeing with the statement, and I would plan to talk about agreement, because I think if we would ask most people about this question, they would say the same, because there are a lot of lessons, theoretical lessons in schools, so people are learning facts, and when they get a job, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, a mistake that a lot of people make is think that the examiner or the test is asking them about their personal opinion. So your personal opinion could be you completely disagree, but you can't think of any ideas that you can support and explain and exemplify. But if you pick the side that most people would believe that's normally the area where you can think of lots of good ideas and to explain things and develop your answers, because that's what we need to do. Not every time, but I think that's a useful way of thinking about it. Okay, so now that we have got this one, and we're going to pick agree, what's the next thing we want to do?
Idea generation.
Idea generation. Okay. What? So when we're thinking, this is an area that you said that you really struggle with and you're really worried about it. What advice did I give you today that helped you with your idea generation?
I should think about what others would think, and not just myself.
Yeah. This is instead of just thinking, why do I believe this? Why do I agree? Why would someone of the opposite gender or from a different country or a different career or a different socio-economic background or something like that? That makes it much, much, much easier. I think it's good to begin with you. Don't ignore what you think about this. But if you start to struggle, you're like, okay, why would a man think this? Or you're a pharmacist, why would a doctor think this? Or why would a nurse think this? Or you're from Romania, why would someone from Ireland or Vietnam or someone from a working class background or an upper class background? There's many different ways that you can attack it that'll help you with that. What was the other thing that I said that was useful when you're thinking of ideas?
Just try to write them down, and I don't know.
I think the obvious.
Yeah, that's
The first thing that comes into your head, 99% of the time, that's the thing that you should use. And then what would most people? So if you went into the coffee shop across the road that we went to earlier and you asked the 25 people in there, what would 20 of them say? What would most people say? And then using critical thinking, for idea generation is what would someone completely different from me, an opposite job, an opposite gender, an opposite whatever, think instead of just me. As I think this is really useful because a lot of people just are like, oh, I'm a female from this country, from this thing, and this job, or I'm a male from this country and this thing, and I have no experience of this. Why are they being so mean? It's like, well, you have to think outside of yourself a little bit. All right, so what's the most obvious one?
Well, if we would learn more about practical skills, we would be more prepared for the jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. What would most people say?
So maybe just that it would be easier to get a job.
Okay, that's a bit of critical thinking. So, or maybe your own experience first. Sorry, as a pharmacist, is it better to learn every element of the periodic table and exactly what everything looks like, or?
So it's more important to learn how to communicate and learn how to speak with a customer, explain him enough.
How would we group all of those together? Like communication, speaking to people.
Communication skills.
Yeah, or soft skills.
Soft skills.
Yeah. Soft skills are, I think you could add in how to negotiate with people, how to empathize with people, how to understand people, things like that. What would someone in a different field to you, so an Irish doctor, for example, what would he or she say about that?
I think it would make his job easier.
Okay. Okay, so that's much more effective than what most people do, which is put a bubble in the middle and then just start brainstorming, because you're going to end up with a bunch of ideas that are not really relevant and you've just wasted your time, and now you have to sort through all of them. Now all you have to do is, this is an opinion essay, so we just need 2 ideas. So how do we pick the ideas that are best for us?
Well, I would choose the ones that I know more about or I am able to talk more about. So it would be the first, which is the most obvious one. Probably the third.
Yeah. Okay. So. And because number 4 and number 1 are a little bit similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Soft skills some people might argue that soft skills are not practical skills, but that would be a very narrow definition of the word practical. Practical in this context is, can you use it in the real world? So as a pharmacist,
I need soft skills.
you definitely need someone to talk to people. So that would be a practical skill. You know, communication, negotiation, telling people that you don't need 80 milligrams of OxyContin just right now. You know? Okay, so now we've got 2 ideas.
Okay, let's plan.
Next plan, okay. How are we going to plan? So let's not focus on the introduction and the conclusion, because we know what we're going to put in there. Let's put our 2 main body paragraphs. Main body paragraph 1, main body paragraph 2. What are the 3 elements?
Topic, explanation, and example.
Okay, so what's the first topic?
More prepared for the jobs. No. Prepared.
All right, and then the second one was?
Soft skills.
Soft skills, okay. Okay, so we talked about this earlier today. Imagine a 5-year-old child saying, why, or how? How does learning practical skills prepare you better for a job?
Okay. You know how to apply the theoretical things that you already learned? Also, you already are familiar with the job that you need to do, or how can I?
Take your time. Think, you know, don't rush in just because they're on video. So again, think about why is applying theory important for the job? Why is it going to help you prepare for the job?
Getting the task done better.
Okay.
In a more efficient way.
So task completion, job effectiveness.
Okay, and for example, I would say an IT guy that studied a lot of programming, like my sister has.
Yeah, so as we talked about earlier, instead of thinking about studies and research and thinking like 82% of computer science, just think of something from your own life. So that could be your country, the country you're currently living in, your job, your sister's job. So for this one, you know, for example, lots of computer science students struggle when they first get their first job as a computer programmer, because they are
you need to retrain again.
Yeah, they're more comfortable with theory than practical things. So good. One thing that you said to me today was that you often go into the writing part and you change your mind. Yeah. One reason why a lot of students change their mind is there's part of this plan that doesn't make sense and is not absolutely crystal clear before. So are you 100% sure what you're going to write about?
90% sure.
Yeah, I think definitely this one.
Yeah.
And this one. This is a little bit vague. So I would maybe simplify this a bit and remove that and just say, okay, because this means that you will be able to complete the tasks. You'll be able to do your job more effectively. And you could maybe talk about the negatives of theory a little bit. So why does theory not prepare you for your job? Do you see what I mean? So you could start off by saying, learning theory in university is great, but it doesn't actually help you do your job, because in order to complete tasks and do your job effectively, you need harder skills, more practical skills and things like that. And then it goes nicely into that one. But that because you do change your mind a lot, I'd spend an extra 2 minutes just thinking about that. Just soft skills.
Okay. Because most people will work with colleagues and with other people. They will need to know how to communicate properly.
Communicate / just general work with other people, so you could negotiation, empathy, clear communication, all of those things, talking on the phone, sending emails, all of these things would come under working with other people, not just communication. An example?
My work as a pharmacist.
Yeah. Pharmacy, and I'm sure you have lots and lots and lots of examples about why you can't go in and just say, well, I know which drugs to give people and I know how much to give them. If someone comes in and asks you for a lot more than they should get, or they ask you for the wrong drugs, or they're not happy with you for some reason, or they want it for free and they can't get it for free, as you told me earlier. So, okay. So would you feel confident now?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah? Okay, good. So what is the next step?
Starting with the paraphrase part.
So do you want to try the paraphrase and then?
Yeah, I will do that. So, some would argue that people should be taught more practical skills than theoretical facts. Okay, this essay agrees with this statement.
Let's focus just on that. Okay, so what are the things that we need to think about when we're paraphrasing? What's the first and most
Make
important
sure that it has the same meaning with the...
Exactly. So does this have the same meaning?
I would say so.
Yep, has exactly the same meaning. Some would argue that people should be taught more practical skills than theoretical facts. Let's have a look here. Some people say that in all levels of education, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough. So why did you miss out the all levels of education?
I didn't miss it on purpose. I saw that after I finished my introduction, but I think it's still getting the point. Maybe I could insert it somewhere.
Yeah, I think if you look at the context of this, where do you learn practical skills and theoretical facts? In education. So sometimes you don't have to copy every single word or chain, duplicate everything, because the context provides enough context. So for someone to look at this and if someone looked at this, they would understand exactly what you meant. You're not talking about anything other than education. But how could we make 100% sure? Because we wouldn't want any examiner to look at this, and don't give the examiner any chance to mark you down. All right. So how could we change this a little bit? There's one very, very, very simple way.
I can see it like
No worries. So what we could do is change people to students. Yeah. Okay.
I thought about writing with students, but then I thought students only are in college and got a connection.
Another way that we could do it would be, some would argue that in school, students should be
It's a general.
School can be primary school, can be secondary school, but people would also refer to university as school. I'm at school at the minute, or I'm going to school. So you know, it's fine to do that. Don't spend 10 minutes debating that in your head. You're like, oh, does school mean this? I mean, some people watching will look at that and be like, oh my God, you said that instead of that. It's like, you're going to waste a lot of time in the test if you do that. And that's one thing that we need to help you with, because you second guess yourself and you change your mind a lot. So, have the confidence just to not have those debates in your head, So some would argue that students should be taught more practical skills than theoretical facts. You could add
in school, or
could add that as well. Cool. So what was the next part?
Okay, this essay agrees with this statement. Because people will be better prepared for their next jobs, and also it would help them develop their soft skills.
And also?
It will.
And also it will, or it will also?
And also it will develop their soft skills. Changes.
Would or will?
It will.
It will. Okay. So you paraphrased effectively, and you've also done something very, very important, which is make it very, very clear what your position is. This essay agrees with this, and you've outlined your two main ideas. So that's everything that we need to see in here. Is there anything you'd like to change grammatically?
So this essay agrees with this time because people maybe, and also they will be
I would just, it just sounds a little bit clunky to me. I would put it will also. So we've completed now our introduction by adding in our position. Our position is extremely clear, and our two main ideas are also extremely clear. Are you happy with that? Yep. You can move on. Yep. How are we going to use this introduction to help us write the rest of the essay?
What do you mean by that?
So what is the purpose of this?
Well, we have our main ideas in the introduction.
Yeah. Okay, so this is main idea 1 and this is main idea 2. All right, so when you are writing your first main idea, you're going to make sure that this links up, so you're not writing about multiple different things that don't. So that's going to help you with everything. All right, so next it's time to write our main body paragraph. Alright, so first, before we look at the grammar and the vocabulary and everything, we're going to look at the task achievement, the coherence and cohesion. Does it do what we're trying to do? People that are taught practical skills in school will know how to apply them in their real jobs. So does the topic sentence tell the examiner what the paragraph is about?
I say so.
Yeah, it does. So well done. If a person is confident with their work abilities, they will manage to complete their task faster.
I think tasks.
Tasks?
Yeah, I wrote
We don't do
tasks.
one task, or I wouldn't want a job where you just did one thing over and over and over and over again. Like you doing editing over and over and over. Well, therefore, they will be more effective in their workplace and accomplish more results. Therefore, they will be more effective in their workplace and accomplish more results. So, in terms of answering the question, are you happy with that? Does it explain? So, does from there to there, does that explain how learning practical skills helps someone do their job properly? Yeah, I'm happy with that as well. For example, when my sister got her job, she had to do a full training about programming because what she had learned in college wasn't applicable to the actual job.
Maybe here I should have said that she studied computer science or something to...
Well, a better way would be some examiners would maybe look at this and say, well, that's applicable to your sister.
And not for everybody.
But not for everybody. So is there any way that we could combine those two things? So mentioning computer science and removing your sister.
To try a general example.
Yeah. So what we could do is say, for example, computer science graduates have to do a full-time training about programming. How could we add to the end? So this is fine. For example, computer science graduates have to do a full training about programming because
companies because what they've learned in school or in college doesn't apply
in university, doesn't apply to
their jobs or
their actual jobs. Yeah. And for anyone watching, I'm just putting CS and grads and uni here because it's just quicker for the video. In the real test, you would put computer science graduates and university, because it is a task 2 essay, and you would avoid shortening things up like that. Okay, so from a task achievement, coherence and cohesion point of view, are we happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're happy with that. Grammar, is there anything you want to change, or anything that you think? What I really liked was you learned to put a full stop here. So what you were doing this morning was you were putting in a comma and then just continuing on and continuing on and continuing on, which caused a lot of problems for grammar, but also for coherence as well. So well done with that. So let's go through it. Let's just remove those things. People are taught practical skills in school. People that are taught practical skills in school will know how to apply them in their real jobs. You know, to get a band 7, we wouldn't really need to worry about this, but some people would say people who are taught, or not instead people that are taught, but I don't think we need to worry about things that are not that like that. If a person is confident, so again, this is being extra fussy in their work abilities. They will manage to complete their tasks faster. Therefore, they will be more effective in their workplace and accomplish more results. Again, collocation, we would say like accomplish more results. Just say accomplish more, because it doesn't collocate. Right? Okay. You don't accomplish results. We would just accomplish something, but we wouldn't say you would achieve results maybe, but not accomplish more results. Therefore, they will be more effective in the workplace and accomplish more. Yeah, good. For example, computer scientists have to do a full training. Have to do a full training? What do you mean by full training? Full training means they do it for 8 hours or 12 hours or something like that? Again, collocations, would we say full training?
I would think more than a day.
Yeah, so this sounds like they have to do it for a long time, which is not the mean. That's not what you mean.
Yeah.
You mean something else apart from full. So what? So whenever you went to pharmacy practical school, I've just given you practical. Have to do practical training.
Okay.
Or it could be on-the-job training. You could change it to that. On-the-job training, practical training, because what they have learned in university doesn't apply to their actual job. Okay. Again, we're noticing the same things we did, but we've reduced the number of grammatical errors just dramatically, which is good. A few little grammatical errors, but we're improving all the time, and then we're seeing the collocation thing again, but we're improving that as well. And that the advice I gave you earlier about reading and paying attention to collocations while you're reading, that'll help you as well. So we've run out of time, unfortunately. So what I would like you to do is this week finish the essay, send it to us, and then we'll show it on the video. Okay, so Simona sent me her second main body paragraph, so let's give her some feedback on that. Learning social skills in school can also help future employees. So we know what this main point is. We know what this main body paragraph is going to be about. It's all about how social skills, soft skills, help people in their future life. All right, and we should learn things in school that help us in the future, of course. So now what we want to do is to see whether she explained this main point and to really give a good explanation or not. The vast majority of people are working with other people and they need to know how to properly communicate. So what she's done here in this second sentence is she's explained why social skills are important. So one of the things that students often do is they assume that the person reading it, the examiner, knows exactly what they mean, and you can't assume that. You have to leave everything on the page. So she's done a very good job of explaining how social skills will help people in the future. And then she goes on to explain further. She doesn't stop there. She goes on and gives a further explanation on the same point, which is really good. Negotiation or extended explanation might be just some possible situations encountered by individuals at the workplace, and they will have to know how to handle them. So she has linked this back to the question by talking about the benefit for people when they are working in the future, which is very, very good. Now what we need to do is see whether her explanation links up with her example. So the example should link up with the explanation, and the explanation should link up with the main idea. They should all link up together in one coherent, cohesive paragraph. You'll notice that there is just one idea, and then the explanation, it explains that idea, and hopefully the example exemplifies, supports, provides evidence for this main idea. So she doesn't have multiple different ideas, multiple different explanations, multiple different unrelated examples. Hopefully, let's read her example. Pharmacists are not taught in college how to talk with their customers or what possible situations might occur on the job, and therefore their first months on the job can be really difficult. So the thing I like about this example, apart from the fact that it does link up with the rest of the paragraph and it does support that main idea, is that Simona is actually a pharmacist, and what she found difficult was she was using sometimes very, very personal examples. Like she would say, my sister did this, or my cousin did this, or she was making up fake research statistics and things like that that didn't really sound right. So what we were teaching her the other day when she was in the office was use something from your own experience, from your own life. So she is a pharmacist, and then make it a bit more general. So she doesn't say, for instance, I'm a pharmacist and my first year on the job was really, really difficult, because that's too personal. That's just about her. Her job might be difficult, but that might be just her. It doesn't really talk about people in general. But what she's done is she has opened it up from me personally as a pharmacist to pharmacists in general, okay? Pharmacists are not taught in college how to talk with their customers. So she did a very, very good job of just simplifying the process of thinking of an example. So you can do that yourself by thinking about your job, or maybe someone you know's job, or the country that you're from, the country that you're currently living in, the city that you are living in, a company that you're working for. Think about your own experience and then use that to help you write a good example. So she did a very, very good job on this. And the grammar and vocabulary are also at a very high level, to the level that she needs to be. So well done, Simona, for that. I know that you went away and did that, so maybe you checked some of the grammar and vocabulary, but you did a good job. One other thing that I would like to mention is people. She has repeated some vocabulary, and this being a video on the internet, below in the comments, people are probably freaking out right now and going, oh, she said people twice in one sentence, you're not allowed to do that. This really comes from people misunderstanding the marking criteria. The marking criteria does not say you cannot repeat a word. What the marking criteria really says, let me interpret it for you, is you should try and vary your vocabulary as much as possible, but there will be times when you either simply cannot change a word because there's not another way to do it. Some words, that's the only way that you can do it, and if you try and change it, the word will be wrong. Or the other situation is she might have got here in a sentence and she couldn't think of another way to do this. So she had two choices. What she could do is just repeat the word, or choice number two, she could try and change it to something that she wasn't 100% sure about, and that probably would have been a mistake. Or choice number three, she could have spent 10 minutes going, people, how do I change this, how do I change this? And then you're just running out of time, which means the rest of the paragraph isn't going to be that good. Now, is she going to get a band 9 for vocabulary if she repeats people all the way throughout her essay? Probably not, but she needs a band 7. And in order to get a band 7, they will look at all of her vocabulary in her essay. They won't, as most of you think, just look at one word and say, oh my God, she repeated that one word, let's give her a band 5 or something like that. That's not how the marking criteria works. Let's have a look at her conclusion. So what is the examiner thinking about when they are looking at the conclusion? They're thinking about, is her position clear? So what does she think about the question? This is an opinion question, so her position is going to be what she thinks about agree or disagree. So is that clear? And the other thing, has she summarized her main ideas? So let's have a look at this. In conclusion, I believe that people should study more practical skills. This here is her position. It is extremely clear, extremely easy to understand. So well done, Simona. In school, because, okay, so this indicates that she's going to give us her main ideas now. In school, because that will make them better prepared for work. That will make them better prepared for work. Okay, that's her first main idea. And it will improve their soft skills. So idea number 1. Idea number 2, and we have our position here. So the 3 elements of a satisfactory conclusion are there. They'll also be looking at the grammar and the vocabulary. They'll also be looking at, did she maintain the same position? So if she had said, I don't believe in the introduction, or I don't believe in the main body, and now she says I do believe, so it's inconsistent, that would not be a good idea. Or if she had 2 or 3 different ideas in the main body, and then she has new ideas here, that wouldn't really link up. So she wouldn't get a higher enough score to get a band 7 probably if she was adding in completely new things in her conclusion and there was a completely different idea in her introduction. Everything should be nice and coherent and cohesive. Her position should be clear and consistent throughout the entire essay. So she did an excellent job with this conclusion. So let's just have another read of it to make sure that she hasn't got any little mistakes. In conclusion, I believe that people should study more practical skills in school because that will make them better prepared for work and it will improve their soft skills. Excellent job, Simona. Well done. So now here is your challenge. So you watched the video where I took Simona step by step through how to write an opinion essay, an agree or disagree essay. I'm going to give you the same question. Use different ideas. You can have different position if you want. But what I would like you to do is go through the video again and try and identify the different steps that we went through. And then try and use that information to complete your own essay. Put it in the comments below, and what I'll do is I will pick one of them randomly and I will do a full feedback session with that student. I will put their essay up on the screen, I will record my screen, and I will give them detailed feedback on their work, just for one student. But what you need to do first is do that, go through the lesson again, look at that question. Some people say that in all levels of education, too much time is spent on learning facts and not enough on learning practical skills. Take your time, there's no rush. Write out the essay, put it in the comments below, and I will pick one of them, or maybe more than one, depending on how much time I have, and I will give you feedback on your essay for free. Normally I charge a lot of money for that service, so one of you are going to get it for free. And even if you don't get picked, doing this is really going to help you improve your essay writing skills. And if you get one of these questions, then you're going to hopefully get the score that you need on test day, and that is going to help you overall. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you have enjoyed it, these are all free lessons. All that we ask for is that you hit the like button or say thank you in the comments. If you have any questions, just let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to get future lessons as well. If you need our help or you have any questions related to IELTS, feel free to send me an email. chris@ieltsadvantage.com is my email address. We answer 100% of the emails that we receive. So looking forward to hearing from you and hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.